welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Keeping It Abstract with myself, Chris Clary, Jay.
Jay Amazon, and with the topics, they get deep.
But we get deeper, and today we are going to get deep into Alfred. I mean, to know Alfred in a more deeper way, right?
Oh wow.
That should
So
be.
it's gonna be another great show. Obviously, some of us have already been drinking early this afternoon, so
It's hot.
yeah.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have Chris, me, myself, Jay, and Alfred. As you can tell, we are going to be doing a show about learning about Alfred and what he's been
Who you be, who you be. For me.
So I guess we're going to kick it off by, let's just do this. Since last discussion, we actually asked Chris, like, how did he get in abstract and whatnot. Alfred, do you...
Well, before we all do that,
Oh, yeah.
we got to give a mad shout out to Dave Canseco's family. So I just got these.
They're like collectibles.
I know, right?
And it's a set.
I'm gonna post these on eBay one day, right?
This guy.
And we just want to say thank you for sending this to us. I keep it here, actually, at my podcast, so that way Dave is always with me, and also with us while we're doing every episode of Keeping It Abstract. So
Sure.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you to the family of Dave Canseco. We wish you guys the best. God bless, and may he rest in peace.
Us.
Blessed he. Rest in peace, Dave Canseco. Yes. Thank you, once again, Canseco family, for the lovely gifts. I still haven't figured out where am I going to put mine. Maybe around here somewhere. That way he's always here too as well. But moving forward, we are learning about that guy there with the waterfall background there. Mr. Alfred. Ever so eloquently, if you can describe to our lovely audience today. Obviously, we all part of abstract styles at one point or another. So, first off, let's just get a little bit more background. Like, how'd you actually get into abstract styles, for one? And, what have you been doing post-abstract styles?
Well,
Okay.
one question at a time.
Well, like just a...
I answered both at the same time. All right. So let's go back to where. So I'm Lil J's age, and I've known Lil J since maybe we were around 12 or so, and I've known Dane since elementary school. So we've known each other since like we were 5. He's like a year younger than us. And so basically I got into abstract, I want to say after high school already. I think I was in my first year of college when I was at Sac State. 03.
Was it 03?
Or 04, either 03 or 04. I graduated 03, but it might have been 04 that I got into abstract. So basically after high school, I was kind of just, I went to Sheldon and Jay and Dane went to Laguna, but we're already friends from before, and we were in our high school dance companies. So between knowing each other from outside of the dance scene and from inside the dance scene, we're all just pretty close homies. But because they went to the same school, they were just always together. And at some point, I guess not at some point, because basically Lil J, if people don't know, is Simon's little brother. So Lil J was basically like born into abstract.
Right.
And with Dane being his like right hand man at that time, they were just always together doing that. And I come in, I think it was through when we were in...
I'm loving the visuals, by the way.
I think it was
Oh.
it's us two, and then
It intertwined somehow.
there was some point where we were always seeing each other at like these high school dance events and these outside like Filipino parties and stuff. And I think at one point they were like, hey, just join Abstract or come with us to practice. Oh, it was summer. I was in summer school with Jason. And it was one of those times because that summer, after summer school, I would kick it with him and we would session whatever. And I would just stay, I think, for Abstract practice. I think that's what it was because I was already dancing anyways. I was already a dancer. So it kind of just came natural, I guess, for me to join that. And
what were you dance for Sheldon? What was your dance company?
Universal Rhythm.
There you go.
So we had Universal Rhythm, and then after that, I was trying to form my own thing with some, just some of my own groups, my own homies. I was in a breaking crew. I was in Revolution in high school, who's one of the, SAC competitors with like Devious and Envious and Flexible Flav and all those cats. But yeah, so after high school, I was trying to form my own thing. That's also when Boogie Monsters started to form. But for some reason, I think it's because I was working too. I started working at like a young age. So I think because of work, I couldn't make it to Boogie Monsters practice all the time. And I was still searching for something else to join. So when they were like, come to Abstract practice, I was like automatically like, hell yeah. Like, I know who you, I don't know you guys, but like, I know who you are. Like, I've seen you guys growing up at the Filipino festivals and all that stuff. I know Kaboom because Joe's my cousin. I grew up watching them, but then it's like, you guys come along and I'm like, oh, there's more than just Kaboom? What is this world? And then, so you guys were probably like the second hip hop group I ever knew next to Kaboom, just literally like growing up. And then, so when that all came around, it kind of just felt natural for me to be a part of it when it all happened. Yeah, that was just the first question. What was the second question?
Like, what have you been doing post-Abstract?
Post-Abstract is crazy. Because I wasn't in the group for that long. Maybe like 2 years at most. Because
I think when I left, you were still part of doing that.
Because I think you were still doing shows with us, even when Clary was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. There was a time when it was just like 4 of us, 5 of
Four?
us.
Yeah.
It was like you, me, Jay, Dane. Like literally.
It dwindled down a lot. As soon as I come in, like a lot of them, I think the last big group that we actually had was at least like maybe 8 people. And then everything else has been like 5, 6, 4.
I was part of like the last gen, which was like
you, Tyler.
It was me, Tyler, CJ.
Yeah. Estella.
Bing. Yeah, Estella. And that was it, I think. I think we were the last batch.
Yeah.
And I never got to even dance with Estella and Bing because I had moved already.
No, you did. Well, not with Abstract, but you did.
Not with Abstract, yeah.
Not with Abstract, because, like,
we were trying to do our thing at Sac State, too.
Yeah, I mean, we were trying to launch what is now known as Sac Modern. Now it is.
That's crazy, right?
It's crazy, because, like, we were, like, there at the...
So people don't know.
The concept stages of what Sac Modern is, where it is today. Like,
so people don't know, in 2000...
Yeah, there's some key players that actually can back this up.
In 2003, Sac State did not have a dance company, right? But we knew of...
Well...
There was Samahang Filipino, but they didn't have like an actual thing.
Yeah, they did it, and
there was Samahang, and that was it.
Yeah,
that was
whatever Samahang people did.
Yeah, because I remember going to Friendship Games 2 times.
I went twice.
Yeah,
first time I was injured.
The first time I went, yeah, because
first time I was on crutches. You remember that?
Yeah.
I almost fell out the back of the van.
Yeah, because, like, we got down with Samahong, and we were doing the roll call.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of like our continuance of abstract styles grew within the college ranking as well. But yeah, Alfred was there like from the infancy stages of say Zach Modern. So when we were trying to get that launched,
We were gonna call it Sixth Floor at first.
yeah,
We were gonna call it Sixth Floor just because at that time, I don't know how it is now, but at that time, the only space we had practice was the sixth floor of Sac State. And so we
I
were just
remember
like,
that.
let's call this shit sixth floor. And that's actually it's a good transition. That's actually the location and time where I busted my knee. So I was trying to do this move. I don't want to say what move it was, but I ended up tearing my MCL in my right knee. And then, and I was like on crutches for like half a year, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that was a pretty trippy time. And up till now, I'm feeling the effects of that because I never got the surgery after that. I just kind of let it heal by itself. But I think from that,
was it a full blown tear or was it like full blown like?
it was a grade 3 tear. I remember them telling me that, and they're like, you can have surgery on it. But at that time, I was just like, hell no.
I'm young. I'm limber. I can do
Yeah,
this.
like they're like,
I'm still young.
I'll regret it later.
there you
Yeah,
go.
Later's a long time from now, so I'm
There you
good.
go. I don't say I regret that decision.
I got this. I got this. Give me the crutches.
Yeah, I don't really regret that decision because my knee's fine. I think either way, my body would have compensated. You know, from like any injury, your body's gonna compensate. It's not like I got healthy the next day.
Right.
So whatever way I would have wanted to heal, my body would have compensated for those months that it was healing. That's just what it is. So where are we at?
Your post abstract.
Oh yeah, post abstract. So I moved from SAC in 2005 to Arizona. And that was a time when like housing was like getting super expensive in SAC and it was super cheap in Arizona. So my mom and I decided let's just randomly move out here. It was pretty random, but we just did it. And basically once I moved out here, I was still hungry for dance because that took me out of basically when I left abstract was when we were just starting to like make some noise in the Bay, kind of making it bigger, I guess, out there. Mm-hmm. And so when I came here, I was looking for what's the next dance scene I can find or what's something close to that. And it's crazy because when I went to friendship games, a couple years before, we saw ASU people do a dope ass set. And I remember you telling me, Jay, like, yo, when you move out there, try to look for these fools. And it just so happened that the roommate that I moved out there with at the time to Arizona, his cousin's girl lived in Arizona. And she took us to, I think we went to Hot Import Nights. And they're like, yeah, my friend's performing. They're a hip hop group here. Maybe you might like them. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Because at this point, I'm just like, California's the shit. Whatever I see anywhere else was probably not the shit. So I'm like, whatever, I'll see what they're about. And I watch him and I'm like, oh, damn, they're dope. I think these are some of the same people from friendship games that we saw. So it kind of just so happened that I did find them in that very first show. They have their own group over here and they were part of their own little like coalition called FP Productions, which is dope because that's kind of the Arizona family that I grew up into now. Like even now, like we're still like not as active, but yeah, we're so tight.
That's tight.
So I ended up getting into FP dance crew, and FP stands for the people. So, but just keep it short, like FP dance crew, and then now it's FP Productions. But I got into it with them, and it was a weird transition because because I basically took over. I basically took over. I went there to just like dance, right? But because they found out that I had choreographed and I was teaching, when I left SAC, it was very young in my like choreographing and teaching career when I was.
So they're
in
looking for
SAC.
you to be some form of a leadership in where we should take this group.
They were just like, oh, you choreograph, come help choreograph. That's as basic as it gets.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
come help us. We need to be. I want to learn. Teach me.
Yeah. Because at that age, you just want to learn.
Yeah.
So the fact that I came from here, they're just like, oh, teach us, and I was hungry to teach. I was hungry to teach and to choreograph. So it kind of just like it made sense.
Right.
And it ended up growing to the point where I became the director. You know what I mean? Like, how it is there. So it wasn't the plan, but it ended up happening that way. And then some other factors happened and we kind of branched out. And from FP Dance Crew, there ended up becoming like a tree. Kind of like how Family Royale has a tree, right?
Yeah.
We ended up having a tree. So there was my group that was Broken Toys. So that's like an individual group that I led
That's a great name.
led and co-led. And then we had Motion Theory, which was an all-guy group. We had Female Prophecy, which was an all-female group. My group was co-ed. So we had the co-ed, the male group, the female group. And then we had Dia Clones, which was a Tucson-based group because we're all based in Phoenix. And then a little branch out of that is Outcast, which is our strictly like b-boy crew. So we had this like tree going, and it was dope because we were like setting up performances. We had full-on shows happening with just all our people's kind of thing. It was a tight thing that was happening over here.
What was Broken Toys' mission statement, or their, I guess, the lack of a better term, like what was the foundation for Broken Toys? Like, what was the ultimate goal for Broken Toys?
It's a weird. So the mission statement became. So I used to rap too. So I used to rap. I used to write. And one time I wrote these lyrics, and later on, when we were sitting at this like round table, we were like, "Yo, what's the mission statement for Broken Toys?" These lyrics just kind of fit. So the lyrics ended up being a broken toy separated from the pack, being a broken toy separated from the pack, wind up figure, I don't remember exactly right now, but it was basically like a broken toy is basically like being an outcast. Being an outcast, being like kind of like you still want to play but you're forgotten about, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just being able to be yourself, being able to, you still want to play and be silly, be creative, but you're not like everyone else. You're not like all the other toys that are fixed, that are perfect. At that time, we had this thing against Kaba Modern and all that stuff because it was, how they're all super uniform and like super robotic. Not robotic, but like super drill team.
Linear.
Yeah.
I got you. No, that would have been a dope skit though. Like if you.
Yeah. No hate to Kaba or anything like that. It was just that we wanted to not be so drill.
Branch away from that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say that like it would have been a dope. Or I don't know. Was Toy Story 2 out? Like, did you guys pull anything from Toy Story 2 as far as material goes?
I don't think we did from that one.
But
what was tight, like every.
Because I remember that, like that whole since you said the broken toy concept is like forgotten, but not or fixed or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like it almost has like that feel like if you would have pulled from like that Toy Story story arc and tied that into Broken Toys, that would have been sick.
We didn't get to do that one. One of our things was every show we did, every performance we did at the beginning, we would have like a whole skit to like a show intro, like a Saved by the Bell. We'll play the intro and then we'll do a whole skit to that. And then there was other ones where we're just like, we always started off with some kind of skit and stuff like that. I took the concepts, the silly skit concepts, And I
Yeah.
tried to bring that over to what I was doing over here.
Because you're watching too many Kaboom videos and
I never really had Kaboom videos. It was always just like if I caught them, because I'm younger than Phil. You know what I mean? I'm a couple years younger than Phil, so it was always just like whatever I can catch at a family party.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh
because
damn,
I
it's
remember
tight.
when all this was actually starting, like intro skits was like it, and it's always like fucking either Wu-Tang, fucking like
No, you know what it
kung
was?
fu skits, or like fucking like cartoon skits, or like fucking like something like vocally from a movie or something like that to actually just get the people all like, oh, what's going on? You know what I mean?
For me, it was so Punky, like Joe, right? He used to babysit me sometimes, and I remember at some point he showed me a chain reaction video,
Oh yeah.
and I naturally, was entertained by them. I was like, at that time, it was like, yo, I like them better than Mind Tricks because of the gimmicks that they have, the eye candy they have.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of like Joe was already like talking like that. He's like, no, yeah, that's because they have this eye candy. Like he knew already like what they were doing, the concepts behind them.
Right.
But after that, I would see you guys do them, Abstract do them, more so, and then I got to be part of them, and so now it's like, okay, now I get to create. Now I get to create my own skits. Come on, guys, let's do this. And then, yeah, so it became this whole fun thing of just including skits into every kind of dance thing. I think it's weird to not have some kind of
a humor.
some kind of break to it without,
Right.
yeah.
They don't really do that anymore. If you
No.
notice.
No.
Yeah. Speaking of dance, you know what? I'm gonna touch base on this because this is also post Abstract. It's funny because it all ties full circle because I was there for the inception of Boogie, right? But I couldn't stay because of work. I was like working, and then Press Play came. Wait, where's Press Play?
Press Play.
Press Play was
like
last, right?
Yeah.
So here's the
last.
funny thing.
You went Boogie, Super
Galactic.
and
I was actually at the first audition for Super Galactic with Jason and them, with Jay and Kevin, all them there.
yeah.
I had already moved to Arizona, and Jay had moved to San Diego. So I actually visited him the same weekend that all of a sudden there was a Super Galactic audition. So I was there for like the inception of that shit, which was dope. And then after that, I was there for some reason at the inception of Press Play also. For the whole beginning of that, which was kind of just like it's kind of ironic to me because I always like kind of feel like I'm just like the outcast of the whole Family Royale thing. I'm just like, how come I'm always here but I'm never part of it? What's going on?
But it's like a sign. It's like they want you to pull you into those groups, but you never actually pull the trigger.
I never could do it for some reason. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for some reason I could never do it. So it was kind of just like weird to me. I feel like I'm just like the historian of the whole Family Royale thing. It's like I've seen it all, but I'm not in it. I'm just in the shadows, like writing in my notes kind of thing.
Yeah. What else have you been up to? Because we all know that you've also moved out to the Philippines, and then you also came back home. Like, what were some of the things that you were doing out in the PI after you had moved out from Arizona?
Right. Yeah. Like, what made you even want to move out to the Philippines when you're already there in Arizona?
Ooh, that's a good one. All right. So basically, things were going good here as far as dance was going, like the crew, work was good, life was good. Like I had my own house. I was working at GoDaddy at the time. So I was pretty much set, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't the best life, but if I were to move on to the next step of having like kids and a family and all that stuff, like I would be fine. So everything was okay. And then my pops died.
Oh,
my dad died and he's in the Philippines. My mom and my dad were living in the Philippines at that time. So my dad passed away and that kind of just flipped the switch for me. Because then it's just like, okay, everything's good right now. If I were to move on to this next stage of life, whatever, right? Which is supposed to be marriage, kids, whatever.
Right.
But if something happens to my mom also, am I gonna be okay? Like, what's the
Right.
What's the picture looking like?
Right.
What's the picture looking like? And that's what got me in my head. Like, okay, it's not a pretty picture, right? If I were to have a family and all this stuff, and something were to happen to my mom, what's it gonna look like? Because I'm an only child. I have adopted siblings, but for the most part, I'm an only child. Like my adopted siblings didn't grow up close to me. Like we were all separated, kind of thing. But I'm like the only biological child. So I basically just put that on my shoulder and was like, okay, I need to just drop everything and go back to school. And I told my mom that, and that's something like she's always wanted. Like, even though like I was already working, like I was in a good position, but she always wanted me to go back to school to improve myself even more, whatever. So at this point, I didn't want to do that. I actually was just like, you know what? I'm going to go to the military. So I started training myself. I like basically rehabbed my knee all by myself. I stopped doing vices and stuff like that, you know, to get myself ready for the Navy. I took the ASVAB. I took the test to get into the Navy and all that stuff. I passed. But the last moment, they're like, no, we can't have you because you're too old. I was 25, but it was the same time that high school recruits were going to come also. So they're like, we'd rather have them instead of you. My whole plan was to join the Navy and then go to school through the Navy.
But did you tell them that you're a Filipino? And he's like, did you actually get a good look at this? I still practically look like I'm still in high school.
I still look like it now.
Right? If I shave all this off and shave my head, I look like freaking back as if I was like 21.
Shave, maybe lose like a couple pounds.
Yeah, right? Fuck you. I'm weight training. Yeah.
But so yeah, that did not end up happening. And my mom was like, let's just go to the Philippines and you can go to school out there full time. And because for me, the whole thing was like, all right, if I'm going to go back to school, like it needs to be full time. Because I tried going back to school while I'm working. It's and I get it. Like, it's hard as shit. Yeah, like, it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
Super respect to people that actually do finish while they're working, while they have kids and all that
stuff.
Yeah.
Mad respect to them. Yeah.
Damn. So I ended up going to the Philippines for school with the ambition of staying the whole 10 years to become a doctor. My whole goal was to go there and come back with like become a cardiologist. But after my first 4 or 5 years, I was just like, I'm getting old. That's enough school for me. I need to go work now. But that was a dope experience. Super dope experience.
Well, how did the conversation actually happen? Like, I mean, yeah, your dad actually passed away, but like, how did you bring it up? Did you say, Mom, I need to talk to you?
Not
the one with the accent.
I want to talk to you about something important.
No.
To move to the Philippines.
My mom had always wanted me to go back to school, and she always offered to put me in the Philippines because she can afford it there. She's like, she always said like, just go to the Philippines for school, because at least there I can afford it. We have a house there. All the finances would be like, what's the word? It'd all be put into one place. You know what I'm saying? Because like basically, instead of having to take care of finances in America and in the Philippines, if I move there, it's like, well, everything comes with us.
Right. So everything, I mean, you remove everything in the US and now you just got to focus on, I have a house in the Philippines. I got to pay for food in the Philippines. There's no obligation responsibility wise on the mainland anymore.
Right.
It's just like all in one location.
Yeah. So we got rid of everything that we had here and whatever, everything else, like we shipped it with us.
And
so,
your mom was in a separate place in Arizona? Or she was already in the Philippines waiting for you?
When my dad had passed away, we had 2 houses here in Arizona.
Uh-huh.
My dad passed away, then she got rid of her house, and then she ended up living with me in my house for the next year. So from 2010 through 2011, my mom was living with me while I was working. And then within the next 6 to 8 months was when I decided like I should go back to school.
Oh, okay. So she was staying with you, and you guys had a like heart-to-heart moment about going over there.
It was pretty much like that, yeah. Cause she already saw me. I had made up my decision to go to the military, so she saw me training. She saw me like studying.
Right.
And then when that didn't fall through, she was like, "Just go to the Philippines. It'll be okay. Like I can take care of everything." Financially.
Cool.
Yeah. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Okay.
Yeah.
If I was gonna sacrifice everything to join the military, like,
why can't I do the same for just going to school?
Right, for the Philippines.
Yeah.
And before all this, in my head, like Philippines is not an option for me. Like I don't want to go to the Philippines. Like seriously, like if I was to ask like 10 Filipino like homies, right? Do you want to go to the Philippines for school? I would say 9.5. You know what I'm saying? Would say, nah, I'm good.
Because it's roots. You got so much. So like, not to stray away from you, but like for me, right? So moving to Hawaii was a big deal, right? Because everybody's there. Your friends, your family, your mother's side is all in Northern California. Your father's side's all in Southern California. I have literally no one here in Hawaii relative-wise. Right. You know what I mean? So, for people to say the exact thing that you're saying, would you go to the Philippines to go to school because it's cheaper and it's affordable and, all expense paid, you just got to, it's all carried by your parents. So, nah, I'll just stay here because everything I know is here.
Right, it's
comfortable. It's comfortable, right.
But, man, that experience is dope. I suggest it to everyone now. Like all my coworkers now, they're all talking about like saving money for their kids to go to college. I'm like, yo, just send them to the Philippines. Like it'll be super cheaper for you. They're not gonna have a student loan coming out of school. They're gonna have a dope experience meeting people from around the world, living in a whole different culture. In their perspective of life will change. Because it's where I went to school at is a small island. There's a small, not island, it's a smaller part of the Philippines.
I think the Philippines has a whole bunch of islands.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, how do I rephrase this to make it? So I went to I went to Silliman University.
There you go.
In Dumaguete, Philippines. And this is the first American colony school to be there. So basically in 1901, this is the first American school in the Philippines. And so now it's an international school. So there's people all around the world that go to the school and they teach in English. Everything's accredited. So it's not that big of a deal why people are tripping about that. And literally it's next to the beach. Like you can see the beach from our class windows. When there's no school, when there's no class, or even after class sometimes, we'll just be like, you want to go to the beach? Okay. And then we'll straight up just like walk there, take a little motorbike there, whatever's. And it was just like the simplest living. Like I went over there with like, all my shoes, all my dunks and all that stuff. First of all, no one gives a shit.
How your fashion is?
Yeah, because most of the people there can't even afford it, so they have no concept of even what that is. So at that point, you're just like silly wearing all this stuff because everyone's just like in slippers. And then at that time, also all my shoes got ruined by the humidity out there. So that kind of just killed the whole shoe game for me in general. But everything there is just simple living because it's not really like a big city. There's a mall, but it's not like they have everything in there.
Right.
It's
essential.
Yeah. It's a super simple place of living which is close enough to bigger cities to where if you wanted to get that city life, you can. It reminds me of it's like the concept of SAC, I guess, is there. Dumaguete is a shipping town, I believe. It's a hub for different importing and exporting to happen in the Philippines. And it's also where that school is. There are a few colleges are. So it's a college town and it's a central hub for shipping. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. But it's a super small place. It's known as the city of gentle people. And I would say like everyone I've met there has been pretty dope.
Pretty gentle with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Care bear stare.
Give me a hug.
Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Give me a hug.
Well, while at the PI, were you actually like? Did you like? I guess put dancing on the back burner and just focused on life in general, or
Oh yeah,
was
dude.
there always an aspect of,
Yeah.
like, I need to get back into dance somehow, some way while I'm here?
So think of it as like this. So you left Arizona. You left dance practically to
Basically,
go
you
back to
left
school.
the U.S.
Yeah, you literally left to be international. Now, leaving the dance scene, leaving everything did you pick up dance or what else? Did you pick up anything else as far as like hobbies go?
So as far as dance goes, when I moved to the Philippines, I basically shut that part off. Once my dad passed away, to be honest,
Different priorities.
yeah, once my dad passed away, there was a literal flip that went on. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? The creative side still enjoyed it, right? The fun part of dance is still there, but the whole concept of like why I was doing it flipped. So when I was in the Philippines, I had opportunities to choreograph. I had opportunities to be in dance groups and stuff, but I was like, nah. Because I didn't want to start. Because I knew that maybe if I had started up again into dancing, that it would have taken over again. And I'm just like, no, I need to focus on school. Because I was literally afraid that I might get too involved into dance again. So.
Plus the people in the Philippines, they can't really dance either.
Some of them can.
Oh, I know.
But yeah, it's different.
But the ones that you see on TV, I'm just like, is that literally the best the Philippines got?
It's so different. Yeah. Their style is so different.
How many times do you got to do the ocho ocho?
Their style is so different. Times are getting better with the internet and stuff getting faster and more accessible out there. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
But definitely, like, yeah, there were some points where I was just like, yeah, no, I'm definitely not even gonna bother. But there were times where I'm like, oh, there's potential there, but I'm just like, no, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
I ended up, I still freestyled, often because there was a lot of clubbing and drunken nights, so freestyle happens a lot.
Is that how you got the girls over there? Oh my God, Alfred can dance.
This guy can shake his hips.
Oh my God, he can dance, and he goes to school. Wow, my God,
Learning to become a dancing nurse, dancing Jabberwocky. Yes.
And he's American. He's American.
Let's not go there. Dang.
He's American. From California.
But I did choreograph a couple things for school. And when I was interning my last year with my classmates, there was a couple of things at the hospital where they're like, Alfred, you have to choreograph. And at this point, I'm kind of just like, you know what? It's the last time I'm going to see you kids. Like, all right, I'll choreograph something.
Right.
So I did that.
I'm out.
So I did that a couple times for school.
Drop the mic. My last choreograph.
It ain't gonna be it's not the mic. It's gonna be like, I'm gonna drop my shoe.
Drop my dunks.
Drop my dunk.
But
because these are all fucking like bust up anyways.
Yeah. But
thanks humidity.
But as far as dance, that's pretty much the extent of it. I pretty much kept that tamed and just kept it freestyling. As far as other hobbies though, it's dope because so before I had left Arizona, to move to the Philippines, I was getting into music. I had a homie here that was actually a professional producer already from the East Coast, and he had moved here, and me and a couple other homies, we were doing demo tracks for him. And basically, this was my whole introduction to all this stuff. And a demo track is basically when you have other people rap on your songs, on your beat, so that when you give the track to an actual rapper, an actual artist, they have an idea of what it could sound like.
Right.
So we started doing these demo tracks, not knowing they're demo tracks. We're thinking they're actual songs for us. And then we're just like, yo, why don't we just actually make this our own thing? And we actually started performing and getting out there and stuff like that. One of our homies was a DJ out here in the clubs. So we started getting play. We started doing performances out here little by little. And then I moved to the Philippines. So it was kind of the same thing. Like when I left Abstract, like things were starting to get up and then I got to bounce. And then so same thing here, like things are starting to get up and then I got to dip. So anyways, with that said, when I go to the Philippines, I'm hungry to make music thing. So it's not about being in dance. I still want to be creative, but now it's about music. So in the Philippines, I was writing more. I didn't have any gear per se, but I had an iPad. So what ended up happening is I kind of put the music on hold, and I got into DJing out there. But since I didn't have any production, any equipment, it was with an iPad. So it's pretty blasphemous, because I know homies that are DJs, right? And to say that I'm a DJ with an iPad, but that's how I learned the concepts of DJing. And I was actually DJing in the Philippines. So I was actually DJing in the clubs with my iPad in the Philippines for my last couple of years there. So
you gotta do what you gotta work with, right?
Yeah. But it was dope because I was the hip hop DJ. Because everything they were playing out there was like EDM stuff.
Disco.
Yeah. Disco with the EDM stuff.
Disco, galabanting.
So like when some of the club owners were like, "Oh, you're from California, you're into hip hop, whatever. Why don't you do a hip hop night for us?" And that's kind of what popped it off. Then it's like, all right, I'll do hip hop nights.
So what was your consideration of hip hop nights in the Philippines, though?
Oh shit! Well, no. See, no, I would play the stuff that everything that you guys were on, everything that was on your guys' list. Actually, everything that was on all our lists except for probably Drake. I rarely played Drake.
Anything of the new shit, basically.
Yeah, I rarely played new shit. I would play some of the newer trap songs because, to be honest, like everyone there was younger than me. Like, I'm going to school as like a 30-year-old, 26 to 30.
Right.
So everyone there was younger. So I did have to play some of the newer stuff, but the club owners were our age. So the club owners wanted me to play the hip hop that they knew, which is the music that I know, which is,
90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had fucking just playlists of that. I was just like, all right, I'll play whatever I want. This is dope.
Right.
And then as the night got on, then I would play, trap and some of the EDM stuff also, because then people are just drunk and just want to dance. So.
Did you introduce some of them to the Ye area game?
Yeah, of course.
You did?
Of course. I brought that out there. I got people, dude. I got the Ye. I got people in Arizona saying that. I introduced that to people out here. I introduced that to people in the Philippines. And because the homies in the Philippines that I met are, international, they're from around the world. Like, I'm pretty sure people are saying Ye in like the UK and Australia now and shit like that. Saudi.
We've been doing that because, obviously me and Michelle are from like California and stuff. And people in Hawaii don't understand like our Bay Area, Northern California language.
Hell yeah. It's funny.
So when it's like, there's this time where I was like calling Michelle and I can't find her. And I'm like, yay, right? And then she's like, I'm right here. And then it's like, when I do that, and sometimes it's like, why does your husband do that? And she's like, that's just like, just like, it's our call.
It's our call. It's hella funny. I got this
Dude, I'd be breaking necks with that, dude. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
I got this homie that I met in Cebu when I was interning in Cebu, but he's from Houston, and he's like, he was, not into the greatest things, right? In Houston, that's why he's in the Philippines, but anyways, when I would like message him, right, and he'd be like, "We going out tonight?" I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah," and then when I would meet up with him, he'd be like, "Yo, what the fuck is yee?" He'd be like, "Why are you always saying yee, yee?" And he'd always stress the fuck out of it. He's like, "What's up with yee?" And then I'm like, "No, bro, it's yee. It's a thing. It's like a vibe. It's a whole emotion kind of thing."
Right.
And then like later on, like we'll meet up with my other homies, and we're all just using it, and he's just like, "Oh, okay." Houston, yeah, I guess Houston don't know about that. They got their own thing.
Well, of course. Every state got their own thing. Every state got their own thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what's up with the yee? I'm like, no, bro, you're kind of overdoing it. It's not
Right.
like that.
So, moving on and getting on to the new questions and stuff like that of the interviews that we've so far had with myself and Jay. Have you picked up any new hobbies? No, I'm just kidding. No. The next one is what was your last performance that you remember? That was like your iconic memory. See, like mine obviously was my being tossed in the pool randomly, and that's never gonna like change. You know what I mean? Did you have one of those kind of special moments during your time with Abstract?
I can tell you mine about Alfred. I can tell you mine about him. Like, I have one for him.
Dang, you do? Say it.
Well, no, because like, remember, was it the Gen 2 show, or was it a Bay Area show that we had? I think it was like you and Tyler's like one of your first performances as Abstract Styles, and we thought and this was back when Ocho Ocho was like really, really big.
Oh.
Remember this?
Oh, I think I remember.
Very barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember Alfred be fucking arching your back in that shit. God damn. I remember that. And I think there was a time that we actually did it at a performance.
We did. And then
no matter how hard
yeah, me and Tyler are battling each other.
I couldn't arch my back like Alfred did. I mean, dude, your back turned into like a little cat, a fucking scared cat, dog. I was like, oh my God, dude.
No, because it's funny because like the funny thing about it was that like, that dance is supposed to be like,
yeah, it was fun. Right? Yeah.
These fools is like
we're just hella serious.
Like, serious? Overlook.
That was that point where like Tyler must have had his towel and then I remember that, yeah. Ocho.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you have something that will beat that?
Not mine is the I actually had forgotten about that one, to be honest, until you mentioned it.
Traumatizing, huh?
My performance is the when we had opened that Chinese church one.
Oh, for Maxine.
Oh,
yeah,
that was Maxine's gig.
Yeah. And it's not really the performance itself, but it's like the whole lead up to that. Just because like I remember like we were there, they were constructing the church and we were already practicing inside of it. And
yep. That place was packed when they had their like little show grand opening thing.
Yeah. And it was like just on this like little stage, and it was dope. That was the one where we did the Mortal Kombat skit and we had Goro happening.
Really appropriate.
Yeah.
Right? A monster in Jesus' house.
Yeah.
I remember that performance because it's like I remember I was like seeing people that I haven't seen in since like years, since I was going to Laguna my freshman year back in 96, 97. And I saw Lonnie there, Lonnie Fighter, if you don't remember, if you guys know who she is.
Yeah, yeah,
And she had kids, she just had like her baby and stuff like that. And I met her husband. And our session, we actually had to use what was it? Beatboxers. Christian, it was it a Christian or Catholic beatboxer? Oh no, it was Christian. It was
Yeah,
a Christian
Christian
church
rap.
because
Yeah.
they had like, they had a whole bunch of performers there. And so we used a beatbox, I think, in one of
Yeah.
our choreos.
Yeah. We had like when they did like one of the other.
Oh, I remember that.
like,
Yeah.
we had it.
Yeah.
We did like a session.
Yeah. That was crazy. That was like a freaking
That was one of my early gigs with Abstract. I want to say that was maybe like my second, maybe or third gig with Abstract. It was pretty early, so that's why I don't know. That's one of the ones that's stuck in my head for me.
That was definitely for a good cause too. So
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone has that footage because like I'm kind of curious what that.
Yeah, huh? I'm sure one of them do.
Well, I'm
Right?
kind of curious.
Maxine probably does.
What our medley was for that whole performance because I'm kind of curious what that looked like.
I think we had a whole bunch of like stuff that we didn't really want to, music wise and lyrically wise, we didn't want to put that
like,
there. Yeah.
The music that we chose for that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of there was Mary Mary. I had to learn a lot of the early sets.
Oh, that's right. We did something to Mary Mary.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
I remember because I remember one day like Simon was teaching me the set, and then like John was teaching me the set, and I'm like, "Whoa, you guys both know the set already?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's an old set," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I'm like, "How do you guys?" I'm learning this from 3 different people. What the hell?
I remember trying to learn those.
Yeah. So like, you guys were teaching me like older sets for that one.
Yeah.
I remember the discussion that we had for that particular performance. Maxine kind of gave us like the 411 like on what we could do and what we couldn't do. And we're like,
right.
oh,
We still had to keep it like very G-rated for the audience because I mean obviously it's the house of God and everything. So
we did Goro.
Yeah.
We got away with Goro though. We got away with a fight scene somehow. Right. We didn't even think about that. That didn't even cross our minds. Like, should we not do a fight scene?
Right.
When we were thinking of doing it, we're just like, all right, let's do it.
Well, yeah, because we were like obviously
we were battling evil.
But Goro won.
He did.
He did.
Wait, who was Goro?
Was it Jay and Dane?
I think it was Jay and Dane.
Was it?
Probably. I think it was one on someone's shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that happened.
Yeah.
It's probably Jay and Dane versus you or something like that.
Maybe I don't remember.
Thank the fact that I don't think they actually got that concept though. I don't know. I don't know if they actually got that concept, but
some of them did. Some of them got to have.
Well, I don't know.
The ones our Jen would have gotten
it.
Probably.
Yeah.
The humor of it was pretty good.
The humor of it alone is something.
Yeah.
If they got the reference, that's another thing.
Yeah. It wasn't meant to like antagonize like a specific group. It was just like
people were laughing.
Yeah. I think when
it's entertainment, son.
Yeah.
So,
like, I guess speaking of Abstract, is there anything that you wish that we could have done or do as Abstract Styles?
Probably individually or even like as a group, you know what I mean? Because I know like
group-wise or crew-wise, you know.
In hindsight, it's like if there was more consistency, I think Abstract could have done bigger things. In hindsight, you know what I'm saying?
True.
If there was more consistency as far as like people jumping in and out, like maybe like organizing ourselves better or whatever. But at the same time, it's like that's what made us us. So it's kind of just like meh. It's
Well,
whatever.
Eventually, like life did catch up with like a whole bunch of us.
Right, right.
So,
But
there
then
are,
again, it's like you also got to consider it, like, just like how you're saying, like, it almost seems like for a lot of people who's been in and out, we were like a stepping stone, for them. Like for myself, is this something that I wanted to pursue, or is this just like a hobby, or is this, will this open doors for me? You know what I mean? So I think, for a lot of people, especially like, Little J and Dane, like, they're still continuing dance. Even though
Right.
they're a part of us, they're also part of Boogie Monsters, and now look where they're at. You know what I mean? So I think, for some of us, it's just almost like that we're that stepping stone for that trial and error.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Was there anything that you wanted to change per se? I mean, with
individually.
individually wise, or is there anything that you regret
Whoa.
when you're in abstract, or could it changed when you're like, because how, like you're saying, like a lot of us like was just like in and out of the gang.
No, if anything, I just wish I was more involved. I wish I was. So during that time, I was a very social butterfly, especially during my early college years. Like that's why, like I was just everywhere. I was in boogie. I was in abstract. I was doing my own thing. I was in this Filipino group, that Filipino group, this church group. I was just trying to do everything, and I think I spread myself too thin to the point where I don't I wasn't there for like a lot of the dope stuff kind of thing. I think that's just all it is. It's like I have good connections with a lot of people, but at the same time, I'm not there for some of the core memories. So that's all I would like to say about that. Like I just wish I was more involved with certain things or at certain times or available more kind of thing. So that's all.
Like, is there a way that you could describe like our bond with one another, like our abstract bond? Like, how would you describe our brotherhood per se?
Feels like someone tickling the spot in between my toes.
What? What? For a minute, I thought you were going to like 51st dates. You're like, hey, do you have a cat? Because I feel something tickling my toes. Like, so our brotherhood, if I get this right, our brotherhood is like licking the webbing of your toes.
It's very moist.
That's what. But the amount of characters that we have, like myself, Jay, Alfred, freaking Dane,
Little J,
who else is like a freaking character? Oh,
Estella
freaking
and Pink.
Ding and Estella. Oh my god, dude. Hey, we need to get them on an interview because it's like it's just straight characters, dog.
I really want them on the show because
Oh my god.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I want them
We'll get there.
actually break bread and actually break the bread on that whole concept.
Right.
That was like genius in that essence when they did that.
I remember when we were breaking bread like that at a Denny's. Oh my god, that shit was hella funny. I remember I was like, when we actually broke bread at that Denny's, it was just like, all right, we got this piece of like garlic bread. First person practically eats half of the fucking thing and then passes it around. I was like, what the fuck? And then you see Estella. It's like, whoa, wow. Okay, pass it.
What made it funnier was that the fact that like the next person that did it, like when like and then passed it.
Yeah.
Like every little tiny bite that we kept going on, and the bread's still like yay big.
I was going through some pictures the other day and actually
You found some?
found a couple pictures of one of our Denny's nights where
Shut up. Are you serious?
we
Can
had.
you share that?
I'm most likely. I'm probably not even in there.
I think you are in there. You are in there.
Really? I am.
We had.
Share
I
it?
forgot who it was. Someone drew abstract with ketchup on a plate. It might have been you. I don't know because you ended up posing with it.
I did.
Yeah, with the plate.
Oh, I think
that
I
said
probably did.
abstract.
I was too busy. Okay, because
Have
you
to
know how
find
the ketchup had that easy squirt,
That's what it was.
so
Yeah.
it's just like and just like fucking just wrote it out there.
Is it
There you
on
go.
the other computer right now?
I don't remember what folder it was in. I was just trying to look at it in my phone right now, real quick, but I couldn't find it.
Damn it.
I'll bring it up for the next one.
Yeah,
Huh.
definitely bring it up for the next one.
Stay tuned.
Right?
Play with our food.
It's gonna be part of the photo edit, right? The video edit,
Oh yeah, I'll just put it in there. Bing.
right? Ding, right in the front. One of the last few questions we got.
Oh, before we get into the
Holler.
because I do want to bring this up, and the fact that you're very passionate about this. I think you know what I'm going with.
I don't know. There's a lot of things I'm passionate about.
Well,
right.
more considering the cryptocurrency
Ooh.
era, because
Oh.
that has been like a major part of your life. You actually started a
Yeah.
blog with that,
Yeah.
and I do want to help shed some light on that for those that are tuning in and just
Dope.
those people that are actually curious about that, because myself, I'm still curious about it. I'm still I still have questions about it, obviously. And you and I have had those discussions before.
Yeah, we should probably have an episode for this. That'd be dope. But yeah, this is a good intro for it.
No, exactly, because like if you so eloquently could describe like how you got into the cryptocurrency.
It's the whole aspect of it.
Yeah, the whole aspect.
Like the whole Bitcoin thing. Are you?
Yeah.
You're still doing that? Do you have?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Do you still have servers?
No,
that-
I don't mind.
You don't mind it?
I don't mind it. I just I accumulate. I slowly buy. I dollar cost average in. But basically what it is so in 2017 I moved back from the Philippines to here. So I have my degree. I have my degree in medical technology. So I have a degree in medical technology. So that means that here, when I moved back to California, I have to get a California license for to become a clinical laboratory scientist is the official term. So during this time, it takes months. It's like a 7-8 month wait before I get my license.
Now with that technology, is that like with medical equipment or like X-ray technician or like?
So medical technologists, the way I like to break it down is in school, what we learn is how your body, like how your cells work, like how blood cells are made, how they work in your body, what are all the chemicals in your body, like what they do, how they function and stuff like that. So we know like the internal stuff, like the microscopic stuff.
Oh, okay.
As far as the lab goes, like I'm the person that runs all the tests. So like I run like the blood test, the urine test, the plasma test. I work at the blood bank too. I do like microbiology. So like I grow bacteria and stuff like that, so we can find out like what someone has and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
So that's almost like finding out like are they allergic to like peanuts or allergic to cat hair kind of deal?
We don't do that. It's not like a normal test in normal hospitals, but I guess I could take some kind of curriculum to include that. But yeah,
some degree, right? Okay.
Yeah. I know how that works. I know that your there's an IgA antibody. That's what attacks you. That's what gets that's what gets sent out in your body when you have allergies. So like I know like that kind of stuff, like the chemical reactions in your body when certain things happen.
That's good. I'm thinking like when you say technician, I'm like, Is he working on equipment? Because I come from a technical side.
I know that's the
right?
thing.
So it's like when you say
Yeah.
technician, I'm like, okay, is he working on the actual equipment itself to actually test people, or is it like you say, you know what I mean? The technical side inside
Yeah.
yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
good for people. You know, it's good knowledge for like
That's
people
a
who
better
don't
way to
understand.
put it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like
Okay.
because I do work with machines in the actual lab, but people
Right.
think like that's
That's
why
what
I'm
you
called
do.
that. Yeah, but
Right.
it's
That's
like, well,
that's very vague because it's like, you know, like you said, you know, I'm that general mass that's like, okay, technician, that's what you do. No, it's
yeah,
like, yeah. So
I know the
good.
technicals inside of you.
Right. So to
But
break that down to let people understand that that's good. So
yeah,
they know what's going on.
Wait, where are we going? What was the question again?
Oh,
Forgot what the question.
crypto.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
so
Okay. We're all in the medical field. And now we're talking about like cryptocurrency. It's like, yeah, well,
so
the
it took
crypto
me.
is inside your body.
So you have to poop it out.
Yeah, you gotta poop it.
So it took me about 7 to 8 months to get my license, right? So during this time, I'm here in America, back from the Philippines, super broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, okay, I'm back. How can I make money? And the reason is because my girl is in the Philippines. So my girl's in the Philippines. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I need to make money so I can go back there. So I can
Has
just
she
go
been
back.
here?
Not yet.
Not yet.
And she's still there.
She's still there. Yeah. This year has not made it possible for either of us to
Oh,
travel.
obvious
which
for obvious
sucks
reasons. I was supposed to go
nuts.
there in November.
Yeah, I've been going prior to this year. I've been going every 6 months since I've been back. So this year kind of cut that. But anyways, so yeah. So right when I got back, I'm freshly graduated, don't have a job. How can I make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I start thinking about investing. Okay, let me start researching about investing. So I'm looking at research. I'm looking at investing into stocks. I'm watching YouTube videos about short sales and stuff like that. So I'm at this point where, okay, I have a little bit of cash. I'm going to start investing and doing like the whole day trading kind of thing. And then I come across this article about Bitcoin and I'm like, oh shit, Bitcoin's real? Like, cause I always thought Bitcoin was this thing in Minecraft. For some reason, I don't know why, I thought Bitcoin was this thing in Minecraft. Like, I don't know why, but yeah, cause I've heard of Bitcoin for a few years now.
Yeah.
Never really knowing what it was. And then I actually start seeing it as I'm researching into investments. So I'm like, okay, I guess there's something really behind this. It's been around for years. And if it's being talked about as an investment, let me actually look into it. So I look into it and it just made so much sense to me what it was. So I just bought like $10 worth at a time to start off. And this is in 2017 and it started to grow. And obviously it started to grow, that sparks my interest.
Right.
So I start researching into it more. I find out there's more coins available. And that's really what popped it off, because to me, it started off as an investment platform. And then I find out that it's actually a bigger movement towards, there's different aspects to it. There's a bigger movement towards a decentralized system. And a decentralized system, a decentralized currency is basically when you have money that's just free flowing without a government. So right now, for example, we have every country that has their own centralized bank, right? And every centralized bank has control of their whole currency, of their own fiat and stuff. Like fucking the US they just put in $5-6 trillion this year into our market. They just put in like $5-6 trillion out of nowhere. They printed that and was like, here you go, America. Hopefully this solves our problems. Right. But if you just inject $6 trillion, won't that devalue everything else that's currently around? If you have 5 gold bars and you're like, here's 6 more gold bars, you kind of don't care as much if you lose a gold bar now. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like it's devalued.
Because yeah, devalued. Yeah.
You have just it's just an abundance, so much of an abundance of it. It's devaluing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And this kind of thing has happened in other countries. Venezuela's currencies is gone to shit. There's something I read before where, was it Venezuela or Argentina? I don't remember where, but it got to the point where their fiat money, fiat for people that don't know is another term for actual cash and coins. That's what fiat is. There's a point where, yeah. So like, because a cash and coin, of any country, that's called fiat.
Right.
There was a point where a grain of sand was worth more than this country's like $1. That's how much of that's how much of a difference that is. So with a decentralized, with the thing with Bitcoin, I'm kind of stumbling all over the place. The thing with Bitcoin is that it's decentralized, right? So there's no one government that controls it.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 21 million coins that are going to be minted ever. And when you think about it that way, if there's only ever going to be 21 million of these Bitcoins, and let's say there's 7-8 billion people on Earth right now,
the value, the supply and demand is high.
The scarcity, that's why people call it the digital gold, because it's actually scarce. Gold is like, it's scarce, but it's like people are finding it more and more all the time. It's like, oh, there's gold under the sea. Oh, there's gold in this mountain. Oh, there's gold in space.
Right.
So that's why there's this big movement where it's like, okay, Bitcoin's actually scarce. Like it's actually a rarity.
That they're already met the cap. They're making this much. There's nowhere where they're going to actually expand that to devaluize what they already have.
Right.
So the scarcity and the fact that people actually have to mine these things, these coins, for like months or days just to get one coin. I mean, you value that one coin as if it was like, platinum or like gold or like the rarest thing that you ever owned, right?
Right. There's actual energy and time put into making these. There's actual, so the way they're mined is there's actual algorithms that are solved. That's why there's so many computers trying to get a Bitcoin, because it takes that much to solve an algorithm which would reward them a Bitcoin. I don't want to get too into it, but like, yeah, that's kind of, so anyways, that's how I got into it. It started off as an investment platform. And then as I started to look more into cryptocurrencies, I'm a nerd, you know what I'm saying? I like technology. I like that kind of stuff. So when I'm looking into these projects, to me, I'm looking to the future. I'm looking at these projects when I'm researching them like, oh, okay, this project wants to have a cryptocurrency to, so that if you gain solar energy and you have excess solar energy, you can sell it to someone in Australia who doesn't have solar energy.
Right.
So there's a project for that. Oh, this project over here will take, let's say it took me super long to earn this jersey in 2K21. Well, now it's actually digitized on a blockchain. So this jersey, there's literally only 10 of these in the world, and it can't be replicated just by someone coding it because it's verified. So there's these technologies that are coming along where I'm just like, that's the future where I can see it going. And to me, it's just potential for investment, because if we're going to go in this direction anyways, why don't I invest in it
early?
Exactly. I see that. And two, it's just also the nerd in me. It sparks the nerd and it piques the nerd in me, because it's about technology. It's about sci-fi stuff coming to fruition now. I'm thinking, so
you can almost consider that as like, since you moved back from the Philippines, like, is that your practically like a investment hobby for yourself, or is like,
I would say so.
Do you have any other things that you're doing now that you weren't since you're back? I mean, are you even doing dance anymore?
Not so much. I still hang out with the people that I did dance with here. I still hang out with them. Before I had left, they opened up this, before I had left, they had opened up this studio called Jukebox. And it's super dope because 10 years later, they just celebrated their 10-year anniversary of the jukebox.
Nice.
And it's dope because this is the studio that's been winning like Hip Hop International and Hip Hop USA. Like they've been the ones repping for USA. They're coming out of here, which is super dope because it's like I'm part of that. That's tight. That's tight. That is part of this tree. But yeah, so I hang out with them. As far as dance goes, I would like to get involved, but not as much as I used to, for sure. It's really just the creative aspect that's in me. I think that's also why I'm into music. I'm into starting the YouTube channel, into the podcast. Even though video editing takes forever, it still interests me because it's just the whole creative process of it. I think that's where I'm at as far as hobbies. It's really just me still trying to find my creative outlet now since I don't dance. Dance was such a big creative and expressive outlet for me that now it's like it's hard for me to pinpoint what that next thing specifically is. So I'm like, okay, let me do this, let me do this, let me do this. Let me try to find it again. But now, because I'm older, I'm trying to do it in a way where if I don't want to just jump into something that's not gonna lead into anything bigger.
Yeah. That's like when Chrissy Clary works on a project car and just burns a shitload of money. Is it gonna lead him anywhere? No, not really. Is he gonna do it anyways? Sure, of course. It's his outlet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when Jay Amazon invests in like more DJ stuff. Is it gonna
Right.
make him any
Does
more?
Jay need that?
Does he need that? No, but will we go get it? Yeah.
But
I just want to make sure because
does his cubicle look pretty cool? Oh, looks tit.
And that's fine. Like if it brings you happiness, then fuck yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like because that's also what dance did to me. You know what I'm saying? It gave me that sense of happiness.
Yeah. It
Which
did
is
that for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, which is I'm all for that too. But yeah, so it's kind of just it's I know that I'm a very passionate person into what I dive into kind of thing. So that's why I'm very careful nowadays of what I dive into. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
I agree with that because let's just say for my experience from, collecting toys, collecting beer and drinking that beer and working on my car and doing like a whole bunch of other random stuff. I had to whittle those things down so that way I could focus on one hobby, and that could be just like my main focal point because it's like like what you were doing with dance and school and trying to do music and stuff like that. You're spreading yourself too thin, right? So I don't want to spread myself too thin. I need to just compile everything and be like, what makes me happy, because it's like I need to focus on that one thing, and then just that's my niche.
There's nothing wrong with having the other things, but
no, there's not.
But you have to. You just have to realize.
You gotta. What one of my friends said is like is to try to live within your means, right?
Yeah.
So if you do all those things, but then you're living off of like cup of noodles and Spam and rice, and that's all you go for, well, you spread yourself too thin, right?
Right.
You're doing all these hobbies, but then years down the road,
you're not taking care of yourself.
You're not taking care of yourself, right? So take care of yourself, and then limit your hobbies to where it's like, what? I can still be happy. I can still be happy internally and physically, and then still have my hobbies, where they're at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
I'm always the thing is, like, ever since my dad passed away, that, like I said, that flipped the switch for me, right?
Yeah.
And so now all I ever think about, it's a good and bad thing, but I'm always like a big picture, long-term view now, which is good and bad, because like my girl's like, dude, you plan too much. You're always trying to plan for this, like that, this and that. Right. It's like, it's not going to happen. But I'm like, I know, but it's like, you still have to try to plan.
Right. Dude, honestly, well, me and you are in the same track. As it was like, you know what, like both of our fathers passed away. Mine passed away 2 years, I think 2 years back now, and it's just like, you know, I literally quit a good job because I felt that there was no growth for me to move into like a more important position. You know what I mean? And more important positions means better income.
Right.
And better incomes comes to better living, and better living just proves to myself and then shows to, you know, and internally feels like, you know what, I can prove to my parents, my dad, that I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know exactly what I mean when you're saying that. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'm financially stable and I have more than enough money to be pleasurable with, you know, what I got. You know what I mean? So I get you, dude. I get you.
So
yeah.
At this point, it's just like I'm just trying to. My focus is growth. You know what I'm saying? Just growth, so that in the next few years, I can do more of what I want to do.
Right.
I can do more. I can spread myself a little bit more thin. So So that's really where my focus is right now. But it's a balancing act too. And my girl tells me that because sometimes she's like, you have to live in the now. You know what I mean? Like you can't keep looking ahead. I know you're planning ahead, but I have to also live in the now. And I do get caught up in that sometimes. It's like I'm always.
I do too.
I'm always trying to like.
I think all three of us get into like so caught up into like, you know what? Am I going to be able to see myself 25 years from now and be like, you know what? Could I done a lot more? Or, you know, did I not plan early enough?
Right.
Or did I plan too late? Right. So, yeah. But then I also get what she's saying is like, you know what? All this planning ahead doesn't lead you anywhere because you don't even know what the future holds for you.
Yeah. And you still have to make the acts. You still got to act. You still got to take the steps. So it's like,
I mean, you could plan for like, I want to grow this tree, but what are you gonna do to help grow that tree?
Yeah, you still gotta
water
plant the seed. You still have to water it every day.
So like,
it's really
But within all that, while you're waiting for that to grow,
you could be doing other things.
What can you be doing to live into the now? So that way it's just, you're not standing in front of a tree watching it grow. It's almost like waiting for.
It's like you gotta water it every day, but it's like you don't spend the whole day watering.
Exactly.
Water for a brief moment, and then let the sun do its
What
thing.
else can you do? What else? Enjoy.
Alfred, can you at least take me to sushi or something, or what? Yeah. I've been in this goddamn house all freaking day. When are you gonna bring me to America? Shit.
Working on that.
Working on shit.
I told you, babe. See, I'm not the only one that says that shit. Yo, it's so funny because I'll be saying stuff like, you know, the common stuff that's funny to us about being Fabi.
Yeah.
And they don't get that. They don't get that. Yeah. They're like, what do you
do? Oh, because you speak English and you.
When I'm like, putang ina shits, babe. Or like when I turn on my pop accent and I talk like this, why do you get so mad? And she's like, why? Who talks like that? Why do you guys talk like that? She doesn't get the concept of like the old 70s Tito that we all like grew up seeing. You know what I mean? Like,
who are you? Who are you? Jokoi? Are you Jokoi?
You take your body. You take your body. You did not hear that from me.
Relationship wise, you are literally, I mean, you think California, Arizona, and Hawaii is far, but Philippines is another 8-9 hours away from Hawaii.
15-hour time difference.
So it's like, oh yeah, it's a 15-hour time difference. So that's even way farther than me.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
How does that even work?
Please tell.
Communication. I guess
communication.
For everyone that's going through an LDR, you have to communicate, and that's the good and the bads.
That is very.
That's
very
the good and the bads. Like if I'm feeling like yo, man, we haven't talked in a good week now, or like I don't feel like we've had a meaningful conversation in a few days, because like people will say, they'll say, hey babe, hey, how are you, whatever. Okay, I gotta go. It's like, oh, but we talk every day.
Right.
It's like,
but not exactly engaging in a real conversation.
yeah.
What's going on? Like, oh, what?
Hi, my name is Chris, and I do the exact same thing.
And that's real. and that's real. That's real. Like communication.
I'm playing games right now. What? Well, okay, bye. Okay, I love you. Bye.
Yeah. Which is fine that you do that, right? But the thing is, if she never says, hey, we haven't had an actual conversation in a while,
right?
Then you never know. And that's one of the things that's helped a lot. Just like being open about that, being open and understandable to each other's time and schedule. It's been a struggle, like no lie, like, you know, there's
a huge time difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're expecting each other to be available at these times, and we're not, because maybe something else came up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's lots of learning experiences with that. And that's another thing. There's going to be a lot of learning experiences. People I think give up too easily because of the frustration of it.
Oh yeah.
Not allowing themselves a chance to understand or to learn understand the situation. Because a lot of it is really petty shit, I think. A lot of it is petty shit. Because when you step back, you're just like, oh, it's really just about this that we're arguing about, or that I'm upset about, that I'm bickering about.
Right.
Because I am upset a lot about, like, how come you didn't call me, or how come you're not responding, or whatever like that. But then it's just like, fool, like, she's just watching a movie. Like, why are you tripping? It's late for her. Why are you tripping? You know, right. It's little stuff like that. And I think between understanding and like the patience part, and then communicating, like that's really what it is.
Is she Tagalog, or what dialect does she speak?
Oh, it's dope because she's Tagalog, but it's funny because she grew up in a household where their mom had brought them up to speak English, because she was like, you have to learn, you know, as kids, she told them they have to learn English, speak English well, so that when you're older, you can get a good job, whatever. And I guess as a kid, she took it to heart. And so she rarely spoke Tagalog. Like out of her whole family, they all speak English, but like she straight up speaks English. Like she speaks very little Tagalog even.
Mm.
So it's kind of dope. So when we talk, it's like, I forget even sometimes that
she's actually Filipino.
That she's yeah.
Has she ever got mad to where she actually brought this Filipino out of her, or wait?
No.
She just actually yelled at you in English.
Yeah. And that's why it trips her out even more when I start to bring out the fob accent, because she doesn't really have it. So it's like, why the fuck are you doing
it?
What
are you doing? Can you talk to me straight?
Yeah.
Why? Because I look like this? You don't like when I talk like this?
I bet you anything. The moment that she flips it on you and starts speaking Tagalog, you be like, oh, shit's real. What did I do wrong?
That's true, huh? Right? When I do unleash the She-Hulk. It's like, so that's how.
Right?
Don't do that. Where's that pin?
Notes.
I won't do that again, but if
I'll try that one next month.
That's the scientist part of me.
I think according to her calendar date, she should be on her period that time. So.
And then you're gonna add this trick.
Yeah, that argument will push her over to the limit.
It was kind of dope too, because we're I don't know, like a lot of people don't care about this, but I think there's some validity to it. We're both cancers. So we
Ooh.
have, similar traits and stuff like that.
Right.
So when she does stupid shit, I just think to myself, like, would I have done that? And I'm like, yeah, I
Right.
would have done that. So then it's like an understanding part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a thing that
So
helps.
you guys already have like a sense of like, okay, her personality trait, is that what I do? And then be like, oh, you know what? All right, yeah. I can
Yeah,
see myself going that route, so I'm
yeah.
not gonna get that mad about it
Because I would do
because
that shit
I
too.
would do, yeah, you would do the
Yeah,
exact same thing. Yeah.
exactly. And so I call her out on that, or like we call each other out on that.
That's hella
So
funny.
like it's kind of dope. It's kind of dope. That's why it's like the whole open communication thing is like super key. And I think it sounds weird, but I think like our relationship is healthier than a lot of other people's relationships because we're not as physical as other people starting off and stuff like that or into the relationships. Our relationship is a lot of communication based, is a lot
Right.
of getting to know each other more so than 3 years of just banging each other and then let's get married. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because there are people that are like that, right? So
No,
Right.
yeah, there's-
And yet they're still trying to figure out like, oh shit, like I've been smashing this chick for like,
and I
4 or
just
5
found out
years,
that
and I was
she
like,
has this
dude,
weird quirk about
now
her.
like
yeah.
now I gotta really talk to her.
Like she
I
just told me
mean,
about this thing that she's really into. I'm like, who's into that?
Like,
Like,
how
what
long does this
is
marriage
that?
thing last?
What did I sign myself up for?
like, dude,
So yeah,
There's me. I'm like, hey, I DJ'd their wedding.
hey, hey, man, my chick for 5 years actually wants to do this thing called talking.
What do you suggest?
Right. What is it?
Just
Well, what do I talk to her about? But besides like smashing guts.
That's dope though that you guys are
Yeah.
really communicating with each
Yeah.
other a lot.
yeah, it's when we knew that we'd have to be LDR, like that's kind of the things you have to do. You have to communicate.
And how long have you been with your girl?
We just hit our 4-year anniversary.
4 years.
Yeah.
So you could consider yourself as like a technically in a long term relationship already.
Yeah.
But like and then especially Jay's been in his relationship with Joe for like a long time too. And so me and my wife, and even though you're doing, and this is what I've learned personally is we don't stop changing and evolving. So even though you think you know a lot about your girl, there's something brand new.
Right.
There's a new venture that she's also doing on herself. You know what I mean? That you have to be considerate, in that accord to what she wants to do. It's just like, like Michelle, like my wife, right? She's doing keto now. It's like, okay, besides just, losing weight and being more physically active and, working out and stuff like that, while I'm just doing nothing but just weight training.
And eat whatever the hell.
Weight gaining.
Well, I mean,
weight training, weight gaining.
Weight training,
tomato,
weight gaining is the same thing, right? So if I'm weight training, I'm weight gaining. So it's like, it's a win-win. So, but she's doing her thing. This is a brand new venture for her. You know what I mean? So for her to actually, to learn these new things that she's interested in and learn the same things that I'm interested in, it's like, it's a learning process. You're always constantly learning, and without that communication that you and your chick have right now, especially in a long distance relationship, you won't know what's going in the background of her. You know what I mean? Unless she says something to you. So mad props to that, man. That your guys is like your main key is your guys' communication. Communication
is key.
It's key in a relationship.
Even with me and Joan, like I think the common thread between us, other than the dancing, is music, and she's really heavily into a K-pop act by 17. Like she's like fully subscribed to their thing, and she's like in her 30s. I'm like, okay, you do that. But like, but in all retrospect, like, I'll even
I just learned something brand new about yourself.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
she's fully committed to that. But the funny thing is that like in hindsight, like I'll go back and actually listen to their. I actually have most of their catalog. Like I actually downloaded most of their stuff.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it does, and I actually do enjoy listening to it. And so like we'll have conversations. She even brought me out to one of their concerts out in San Jose, and it was like the first concert that I've ever been to in like years. And to be honest with you, like, dude, this is nothing like what these cats do in the States. Like these.
Oh no, yeah, Korean people when it comes to like performances and stuff, it's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah, but like, imagine if like you were like a U.S. artist, but you had that type of following here in the U.S. And
Oh yeah.
dude, like, you know how much like beloved you would be in today's society with that type of environment? Like, dude, that would be freaking insane.
Yeah.
If they would just keep like, if they take like some of the factors that the K-pop artists do, like instead of like, all right, you're a hot act right now, sign you to a deal, throw you out there, we give you single. Like, no, these fools condition them fucking asses for like 10 years plus before they even debut.
Right.
And it's like they're even doper when they were dope when they first started out, but like when they actually debut, it's like, fuck, you guys been doing this for how long? And this is your first thing? Like, dude, you guys are sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Americans
It's
don't have
hard.
that patience.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
that's,
No.
that's the thing. And so it's like, yeah, and she's actually Joan's going through the keto diet herself right now too.
Oh
It's funny.
shit.
My girl's family is doing the keto diet. She's
Oh
not,
shit.
but
You guys should all. I mean, I'll
I'm
link you
straight.
guys to Michelle's IG. She's been making some fucking bomb ass food. Like it's like I'm doing. Is she's doing keto? I'm doing Cheeto because I still need like a little bit of sugar and I still can't get rid of rice. So
No.
she's doing it, but then like it's crazy. Like she makes cheesecake, but there's no sugar
Ooh.
and there's no carbs in it, and it's like fucking. It's like, oh my god,
Wait,
it's
what
like
did she make the crust out of then?
I don't, dude. Follow it.
I would like
Follow it.
No,
Yeah,
it's like,
you're gonna have to follow it.
because my thing would be like, all right, if I figured out if I get that recipe, I want to know how to make a key lime pie that way. Because
Oh, dude, and then for your girl, right, Alfred? So we made a keto cutty recipe.
Oh dang. Well,
Yeah.
she doesn't eat meat, but I'll share it with her family.
Yeah, but
Oh, so
I
she's
mean,
vegan?
instead of using oxtails, I mean, you could
No,
just
she's
go.
a pescatarian.
okay, so she
But-
eats fish.
She eats fish,
Yeah.
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 She's more. She couldn't go full vegetarian.
Ah.
So she still eats seafood.
Yeah, but I mean,
Just-
even then, I mean, if you can't eat meat, I mean, dude, cutty is just with the vegetables, eggplant, all this stuff. It's
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
it's still freaking bomb. You know what I mean? So I was like, damn, this is like keto friendly, and she's like, yeah. I was like, dude, I had to do it with rice because I mean,
Hell yeah.
I'm on the Cheeto diet, but you know, for her, it's like this shit. It was, you couldn't even tell the difference because technically peanut butter is peanut butter in in the recipe, right?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I would have never thought that this would be keto. So I'll link you guys later today, and then you
Put
can
that in the
and
description.
yeah, and if people do want to follow her, which is
Boom.
her IG is actually like you know pretty like inspirational, and you know you can still splurge, but still follow that keto diet, which is actually amazing. So she's been watching a lot of YouTubes and stuff like that. But
Moving on.
Alfred,
To the left, to the left.
last question. And with the last question, is there any last words you want to say to our audience who are listening? If we have any, I don't care if we actually listen.
Yeah.
It's like,
I just want to say, first of all, stay tuned because there are bigger plans coming for not just Keep It Abstract, but like with the whole Planet Alfred channel, the whole YouTube channel in general. I have lots of ideas. I just haven't had the time to put them all into play yet, but it's in the work. I do want to start talking more and just having and just start talking more about like financial stuff, about crypto, just sharing whatever stuff I can share if I can help people with that kind of info. And let's see here, what else? Communication is key. Freddie Leaf is actually the name I use for music. So when I do music, I use Freddie Leaf. That's it right now. I'm gonna be on my I don't know how to plug. Well, I guess if anyone's listening right now, I'm gonna be on my other homie's podcast in a couple days, because he's gonna remember how I said I was like into music before I left here.
Yeah.
We had a group. Oh, the group I was talking about. We were called Deadbeats, and
Good.
and that was the group where we were actually starting to perform and stuff like that. So my homie, who was the DJ that I said that was in the club and stuff like that,
Yeah.
he became a radio DJ, and since the whole COVID thing happened, he was furloughed more so.
Oh.
So he started his own podcast, and he's gonna have us as his like first guest.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of like a Deadbeats reunion, huh?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. That'd be dope.
There you go, Jay. You said you needed more DJs. Spread the word, man.
DJ homies, unite.
Oh man, it's like one big network of DJs on Twitch, man. It's just
Yeah, there's DJs on DJs over there.
yeah, it's just getting the right ones for it. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We all got our homies. I mean, shoot, 3Style just started their channel, so I was like, if they could do it, I'm gonna ask our homies to do the same thing. Like back in SAC, if they're willing, because individually there's like maybe 3 or 4 of us that have our own channel, but like, dude, when we're not in wedding season, or whoever's not on the gig, actually just go on the channel and just stream on there just to promote more.
Yep.
So you know the sky's the limit on this for the most part. That's dope though.
So
Yeah.
that's it so far.
Cool, man.
Everyone stay clean and stay safe. Practice good hygiene.
Now wash your ass.
Wash your everything.
Wash your everything. Wash your everything for 20 seconds or more.
Even between the toes.
In between the webbings of your toes. I mean, I know some of us wash, our private parts for more than 20 seconds.
After that, it's just pleasure. Stop it.
I'm just being very thorough, okay? Just thorough,
Do you get in between the spot before the crack and the sack?
right?
Whoa. The gooch.
Oh.
Chode.
Whatever it's
all the little creases between the brain.
The nooks and crannies.
They call it the brain for a reason. I gotta make sure that it's like really, what is it? Your cow. Did you cow yourself?
All right. I think we're good.
I think we're good, man. So we got our last words.
Alfred, do you have anything else that you want to add on other,
Everyone be considerate to each other. Shit. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, just inconsiderate people in general. There you go. If people were more considerate of other people, it'd be a better place.
True.
All right. So with that.
Ooh, I got one thing I want to share. Last thing. It's kind of an interesting nerdy fact, but it's a good idea to throw out there. So when I was in school, right, I learned that the brain has, I forgot the number now, but it has like 20 billion connections, right? Like 20 billion neurons, little cells. And it's each of those cells, right, that connect to each other that makes the brain, that gives us imagination, that gives us thought and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, shit, there's about 8 billion people on Earth. And let's say everyone has Twitter. So everyone's connected and shit like that. So if together we fucking had the right ideas and the right positive things to say, we could, form something great. If 20 billion cells can come on the same page and create something as great as imagination,
Why can't we do the same?
why can't humans come up with something positive and create something great?
Yeah.
Instead of using fucking social media for bullshit. There you go, people. Think about that.
That's almost like what the Mind Stone was in the MCU, when you think about it.
To combine everyone's thoughts and stuff like that.
Well, because remember when they were building Vision or what's his?
Yeah, Vision.
Vision.
Or
Yeah, Ultron. Yeah, because Ultron did have the.
Because you had multiple things going on as well as the stone. So, like, with your analogy, I'm like
yeah, man.
Wow. That's...
Imagine what we can do.
No, because my mind just went like, that is so fucking true. Man,
right?
It is true.
It's true. As a species, we could evolve. As a whole species, we could evolve if we did something like that.
But the problem is that everybody got like their own ideals and like their own, agenda per se. You know what I mean? It's like we're just like your brain.
We just need to have a common picture.
Some things are still going to clash, or some things are not going to always be in a clear vision.
That's the thing. There has to be a common something.
Yeah. So
let's go, humans.
Right. Let's go.
Let's keep it abstract.
With that being said, Alfred, you want to lead us out?
With that being said, everybody, keep it abstract.
Keep it abstract.
Keep it
I don't know why
abstract.
this became the thing, but
For you?
I know, right? I mean, everybody can hang loose.
Yeah. All right. 10 seconds. We're ending this, or 20 seconds. We're gonna end the stream. So.
Where's your pose, Chris? That's Chris's pose. Oh shit! I need a pose.
I can't read.
All right. Oh, that would be a dope one if there was a emoji for the West.
Some eggs and sausages this morning.
Oh,
yeah, you did.
So I had that, and then I was like, you know what? This is fucking missing some Filipino essence to it. So I got the patis. Cheers, gentlemen. Should we do that when we actually start or what?
Cheers.